Hey, it's Lee, and I'm here with another round of pickups. I want to apologize that I haven't had any videos in a while. I know all three of you have missed it. But yeah, unfortunately last week was Canadian Thanksgiving, so I went to visit my parents. Well, it's not unfortunate. I like visiting my parents. But I didn't really shop for games while I was there. And the previous week plans got canceled, so it's been 3 weeks since I've been out. It also coincided with payday, so this is actually a pretty big pickups video. So I got a few things. First, I went to something called the Geek Market. I've mentioned it before. I don't often get real deals there, but there is one vendor that tends to have pretty decent quality stuff in terms of really decent titles, and usually at reasonable prices. Not amazing prices, but reasonable prices. This is Sonic & Knuckles. He had it at $30. It's boxed and complete. It's not in perfect shape or anything like that. But for $30, I can afford that. It's in better shape than some that I've seen recently, and I believe it sells for about that much, maybe a little bit more at the local store. So I was glad to get it in this good a shape for $30. Not a steal by any means. Again, at the Geek Market, same location. I picked up ActRaiser. And I didn't get a steal on this. I believe it was $40. Other stores in the area, kind of around that range, 40, 45. Again, but this label is perfect. It's beautiful. So I figured, you know what? I'll go with this one. It looks like it's in really good shape. And the guy, a long time ago, I got a really good deal off of him, so I feel a little loyal. So that's one thing. I kept the stuff in plastic bags so I could make this an awkward video. And there's also a little bit of a hockey game going on in the background here. So then I said, one of my goals was to pick up horror-themed games in the month of October. And I know I haven't shopped much, but it's still one of my goals. And I didn't find anything while I was at the Geek Market, so I went to a couple local stores. First thing I did is I tried to go pick up a beautiful copy of Night Trap on Sega CD at a local CD store. And unfortunately, they sold it. So I got screwed over there. So then I anger bought. And what I did is I went to a store on the Quebec side of things. So if any of you know where I live in Ottawa, there's a place called Hull right across the river, and that's where I picked this up. And this is Escape from Monster Manor on the 3DO, and this box is unbelievably nice. I didn't really pay that much attention when I was at the store, but it's really, really nice. I'm barely seeing any imperfections. There's a tiny bit of discoloration here, but wow, it's nice. For those of you who don't know this game, it's a first-person shooter, and you're just shooting weird things, ranging from, I believe you shoot chickens at first, and then you just move on to ghosts and things like that. But a cool-looking game, and it was not expensive at all. It was about $25, and I believe that is well under eBay prices, so I was really happy to pick that up. And the last game was kind of a little bit of a departure from my list. It's D, and D is a survival horror game. It actually came before Resident Evil, and D is the reason I said it's a departure from my list is I absolutely had D on my list. In fact, I picked D2 up only maybe a month and a half ago on the Dreamcast. I had planned to get D on the 3DO because that's the first platform I know of it being on, and I thought that would be a cool thing. But when I saw that they had it on the Saturn, and my Saturn collection's kind of puny, I saw an opportunity there. And the price, again, was not... I don't know if it was a good price, but I know it was probably less than I would pay for the 3DO version. So I paid $50 for this game, and I feel like that was a pretty decent price. I haven't looked it up, so maybe I'm wrong and I overpaid, but that store historically, I've had pretty kind of mediocre success. I've found that their prices are a little bit high on a lot of stuff. But of late, I've been seeing some stuff that's kind of reasonable. So yeah, D on the Sega Saturn instead of the 3DO. That's kind of a cool thing. Goes with the horror theme. Definitely hope to add a couple more next weekend, provided no changes to the plans occur. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to have that. A little disappointed I still don't have Night Trap. One non-game pickup, and I've kind of shown a partner thing to this in the past. While I was at the Geek Market a long time ago, I showed that I picked up 2 of these books at another Geek Market type thing. The author was at this Geek Market and selling his 3rd book. His name is Liam Gibbs. Seems like a very nice guy, and describes this as kind of a comic book, Marvel Universe meets Star Wars humorous kind of take on stuff. I read a little bit of the first book. It's not that it was bad or anything like that. I just stopped reading it because I joined a book club at work because I'm a grown-up now. So I didn't really have the time to read it. But I do plan on getting into these. You know, I'm supporting someone local. He's trying to do something great. He's self-funded. So, you know, if you guys get a chance, you can look him up. I would recommend also, hey, there's some contact details, it looks like. You know, if you have any authors in your area, I recommend you pick up their books too. You know, if you can get in on the ground floor, and, you know, sometimes these people blow up. I don't know if this guy will. Sometimes they blow up. It's nice to be on the ground floor. You can kind of have bragging rights over other people. I don't know. I never feel bad spending money on something where I know it's going local and it's to someone who seems like a decent person who's just trying to kind of fulfill a dream. So yeah, I went all philosophical on you. But yeah, I've got that. Just another recap. Couple horror games. So D and Escape from Monster Manor. And then, again, ActRaiser, Sonic and Knuckles. I guess I can put them this way so you can see everything. Pretty good gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but pretty good day. Probably spent more money than I should have. I also picked up a PS1 for my boss. He asked me if I could get one cheap to pick one up for him, so I did. But yeah, these are the pickups for my collection. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more next week. I probably won't go as nuts as I did this week. And I guess all I can say is thanks for watching. All right, bye.